What's going on, guys? Welcome back to LOI Fan TV. And Stephen Kenny has just announced his 25-man squad for the upcoming World Cup qualifiers against Portugal, Azerbaijan, and of course Serbia as well. Couple of big calls made by Kenny in his squad. We did a prediction video. We kind of said 28-man squad might be more of along the lines of what he's done. The reason why it's 25 is he has said in his press conference that possibly there will be Alan Brown and Callum Robinson coming into the squad. I believe they do currently have COVID or have the effects of COVID, but there's a possibility that they will come back into the squad at some stage. Just in terms of the squad then, I'll pop it up on the screen now. So obviously the big talking point in terms of goalkeepers, as you can see straight away, the first thing that comes to eye is Darren Randolph, the omission of Darren Randolph. Now, personally, we were kind of talking about it with Socko. Socko half expected this net to happen, but personally, I thought that Randolph was a shoe-in just due to the experience he brings to the squad. He brings so much experience and just quality, I think, as well to the squad. Of course, he is now third choice at West Ham behind Fabianski and Areola, who they just brought in, which isn't a good sign. So realistically, he needed to get a move to continue on as number one for Ireland. So yeah, for me, the Randolph one is a bit of a strange one. I would have maybe not anticipated him to start, but I would have anticipated him definitely to be in the squad for his experience, as I said. But he did name Caoimhín Kelleher, Gavin Bazunu, and Mark Travers in the squad. Mark Travers, of course, has started the season off really well with Bournemouth. He probably would have been the one I would have expected to have dropped out for Randolph, but Travers has come in. And he's done really well for Bournemouth so far under Scott Parker. He's been their number one for the first 4 or 5 games. So yeah, I think he's earned his right to be in the squad, definitely. Gavin Bazunu, of course, has had a fantastic start to his campaign with Portsmouth. I think it's 3 clean sheets from 3 league games. So Bazunu is flying currently. Kelleher as well, I think his quality is undeniable. You could see at times last season with Liverpool that he came into that side and he did expertly in Champions League games and Premier League games as well. So I think he might have made the right call with the goalkeepers. I'm not too mad about the goalkeeping situation. I just would have expected to have seen Randolph there for his experience is the only thing. Moving into the defence then, obviously Seamus Coleman, Matt Doherty is no surprise whatsoever. They're the 2 names that you'd nearly bank on being the first 2 you'd see in the squad. Our strongest right wing backs. Does look like by the squad he's named that we are going to operate with this 5-back formation for sure. And there's obviously 5 centre backs there, as well as Coleman, who can drop back into that right centre back position as well, which I'd expect to see. Actually, personally, I would expect to see that in possibly in the Portugal game. So obviously, Shane Duffy had a fantastic start to the campaign with Brighton and Hove Albion, scored at the weekend, I believe. He's done really well for them so far. So he's obviously a no-brainer into the squad. John Egan as well. You'd expect to see him within the starting lineup as well. Really integral part of the squad. Darragh O'Shea, of course, is another one that can fill in across the back 5. Possibly he can do a job at wing back, you'd imagine. But obviously West Brom start to the campaign has been fantastic, and we'll get on to Callum Robinson in a bit, which is a big blow, of course, because he's had a really good start to the season with West Brom as well. But Darragh O'Shea, fantastic to see him in the squad, of course, and he can offer a lot of versatility to the side. Ryan Manning then and James McLean, the wing backs. Yeah, as you'd expect, the only kind of downside to it was possibly seeing Liam Scales brought into the side alongside those 2. I think Liam Scales probably did earn the chance to be in the squad, personally. I thought he's been fantastic this season. I was expecting maybe instead of Leo O'Connor for Liam Scales to go in, but he has opted to bring in 5 centre halves. He has Omobamidele there as well. No Kieran Clark. I think he's fit at the moment. I think he's been on the bench for Newcastle so far this season, so he's missed out. Omobamidele's come in, a really good young player, and Nathan Collins as well recently moved to Burnley for I think it was 10 million plus from Stoke. So yeah, great to see him get into the squad. Been with the under-21s for a year or 2 now, so yeah, he's more than earned his chance to be in the first side. Whether he starts or not, Nathan Collins, he probably won't, but it's good for him to get into the squad and be part of the main senior setup, and just kind of get used to the whole scenario with it and get used to the players and stuff as well. So yeah, I think it's good that he's brought Nathan Collins in, even for the next set of games, whatever like that, where he might be more likely to get in ahead of a John Egan or something like that. If Nathan Collins is playing regularly in the Premier League, it'll be hard to look past him. So yeah, Nathan Collins is definitely one that I'm happy to see in the setup. But yeah, in terms of the back, the defenders, there's no huge shock. Liam Scales was obviously always going to be a little bit of an outside shout, but it would have been nice to have seen him get in there, but it was always an outside shout, to be fair. And then of course Kieran Clark is probably one you might have expected as well, but it's not a huge shock. So yeah, the goalkeepers and the defenders I'm fairly content with. I think the midfielders and the forwards is where it begins to get interesting. Josh Cullen, first of all, he's a no-brainer. I think everyone was expecting to see him in the squad. It's a no-brainer. Josh Cullen's been fantastic. I think he's played every game for Anderlecht so far this season, and he's been really good. He's impressed in his Ireland games as well. He has done well for Ireland, and so yeah, Josh Cullen more than deserves his spot in this side. Jeff Hendrick is one where we could easily go without him. Like I wouldn't have put him in there myself, I don't think. Looking at the list of absentees, which I'll get onto in a second, I think there's definitely better options than Jeff Hendrick for sure. Conor Horahan, I know he's not getting in at Villa at the moment. He hasn't got a move yet, but I think the quality he showed it at Swansea. He hasn't really done it for Ireland that much, but I do think Conor Horahan is deserving of a place in the side. Harry Arter is an interesting one. I think I put him in my squad because I know Kenny does like him in my predicted squad, because Kenny does like him. And he's kind of like suits the style of play, but he's playing with the Nottingham Forest under 23s at the moment. So it's tough to kind of justify it when you look at the list of absentees from the midfield. It's hard to justify Harry Arter getting into the squad. Jamie Mcgrath, brilliant to see, delighted for him, more than deserves it. He's kind of the one midfielder there that you feel comfortable in terms of creating, playing in that number 10. Do you remember Stephen Kenny talking about his love for number 10s and stuff? He's only brought the one in Jamie Mcgrath. So yeah, I think Jamie Mcgrath, of course, is going to be. I'm not sure if he'll start. I don't think he probably won't. But yeah, I think it's the right decision for sure. Malumbi then as well. I think Malumbi's been a little bit injured as of late. I think he was a little bit of a doubt coming into the squad announcement. But yeah, I think Malumbi. I think Kenny's obviously a huge fan, but it does seem like a weird one because I don't think he's got a move. I'm pretty sure he hasn't got a move just yet. I think there's talk of Swansea coming in for him. But when you're thinking about these players that aren't playing in their senior teams, and then we have, as Ush says here, Gavin Kilkenny, that's the main one, as you can see from the thumbnail. That's the main one that I was kind of banking on to see in this squad. To be honest, Gavin Kilkenny with Bournemouth so far this season got man of the match for them in their opening game of the season. Scott Parker's kind of developed him in a way that he's kind of playing in a more deep lying role for Bournemouth, and Bournemouth's going to be a side that's going to be challenging for promotion in the Championship for sure, and he's starting week in week out for them. So I think Gavin Kilkenny can feel very, very hard done by here, to be honest. I don't think it's the right decision for Gav. I think he definitely deserved to get into the squad. If you're looking at a couple of other options, maybe James McCarthy, obviously got his move to Celtic recently. He's missed out. Jack Byrne has missed out. Obviously, he's kind of expected. He's with Apoel Nicosia. He's not getting in there at the moment to stop from coming back to the UK for a loan move. So Jack Byrne at the moment, you can't make a case for it at all. Robbie Brady, of course, free agent at the moment. So you can see why Kenny avoided that. Although I do think he's on his day when he's fully fit is probably one of our most naturally gifted players. Robbie Brady, I do think it's the right decision just in terms of he hasn't had a pre-season. He won't be up to match fitness at all. He needs to get a club and soon. And I believe he's had a few championship offers, but yeah, Robbie Brady needs to get a club ASAP. I think the main one is Gavin Kilkenny. There was a few people saying kind of maybe a Dawson Devoy get in there, players like that, but I think they're better off in the under 21s for now. They're still so young, and there is realistically players playing in the Championship and stuff. They do deserve to be in ahead of League of Ireland players for the most part. Sam Smodzic was one we saw drafted into the squad last time out when there was injuries and stuff, but you weren't really expected to see him in because we had a couple of our players back from injury and stuff. Jason Knight, of course, is ruled out through injury. Connor Coventry was mentioned a few times, but I think he's another one where he's not playing first team football. So yeah, on the most part, the mid, Alan Brown, of course, if I mentioned at the start, just for people if they're joining in now, Alan Brown, Stephen Kenny hasn't just announced that he might come into the squad. He's currently either has COVID or he's kind of feeling the effects of COVID, so he's not on the squad currently, but he might be drafted in as the week goes on next week. So I think he'll be out for the Portugal game, but he might be back for maybe Azerbaijan or Serbia. And it's the same with Callum Robinson as well. So Callum Robinson's had COVID 3 times now. Can you believe that? 3 times. I didn't think that was even possible, to be honest. What are my thoughts on the squad? Overall, I'm a little bit underwhelmed, but I feel like whatever squad's announced, you're always going to feel underwhelmed a bit. But I would have liked to definitely have seen a couple of changes in there. But listen, I think at this stage, you have to back it and you have to just give your full support to the cause. And there's no reason not to, I don't think, at this stage. I think you just have to. So frustrating for Scales and even Georgie Kelly. Yeah, I think Scales was one that I had in myself. Georgie Kelly, on the other hand, was always an extremely outside shout. I think bringing Shane Long is always going to be the safer option for Kenny in terms of just being proven on the international stage and having all those caps behind him. And I think players like Shane Long can be good just for the dressing room. I think James McLean is another type like that. Maybe Scales is competing with him. James McLean has 80 caps for Ireland. You do need that bit of experience, especially taking out the likes of Randolph. You do need that bit of experience in the dressing room, I think. Hendrick shouldn't even be playing for Ireland. What has he done for us? Yeah, but was it Euro 2012? It's been nearly 10 years since he's done it in an Ireland shirt, and I've never really seen it with him since then. So yeah, I 100% agree with that. Yeah, I'm not mad on Hendrick at all, as said in the channel a good bit. But for the most part, I think I'm happy with the goalkeepers and the defenders. The midfielders, I think, could do a little bit of work, a little bit of tweaking. In terms of the forwards, then of course we do have Aaron Connolly. Good to see him back in the side. Gives us that bit of pace in the final third of the pitch, and he can kind of play across the front three if we're playing like a front three. I think we'll probably play maybe a front two, or if it's a front three, Aaron Connolly gives you that bit of versatility across there and gives us that pace, especially considering Chidozie Ogbene has been ruled out through injury. I think Ogbene looked great in the last international games. He looked really pacey on that counter-attack. He looked smashing. So yeah, I think having Aaron Connolly back in the side will make a difference, especially because we're going to be playing on the counter-attack against Portugal, against Serbia. Having pace is going to be integral to getting behind their back four. I don't even want to look at Portugal's squad, to be honest, in comparison to ours. But James Collins, of course, is one he's been moved to Cardiff, I think it was. He's playing second fiddle there at the moment to Kiefer Moore. There's talk of Kiefer Moore getting a move at the moment, so maybe James Collins will be drafted in as the number one striker at Cardiff. But at the moment, Collins, I don't think has been starting too many games, if that's correct. But yeah, Collins, I don't know. It's one of those. It's uninspiring, but there's not many better options, and he does give you that kind of target man. So yeah, it's not great. It's not great, but I suppose like it's one of those where you have to get on board with it. Adam Ida is one where he's not playing with Norwich at the moment. He needs a move, definitely. I think there was talk of Norwich were looking at Adam Armstrong from Blackburn Rovers, and they were looking at Ida as possibly being part of the deal to get rid. So Norwich do have an eye on Ida kind of getting out the door a little bit, whether it be on a loan or a permanent deal. So I think Ida definitely needs a move there, because he's just not getting his chance in ahead of Pukki and the likes at Norwich currently. So I think Ida just needs a run in the Championship, because I think if he gets a run of games in the Championship, he can score goals. We've seen it. I think he played an FA Cup game and scored a hat-trick. Like, he's so talented. He's tall, he's strong, he's quick. Seen it at under 21 level. Adam Ida will be a really, really good player. I know he will, but I think he needs a move for sure. Troy Parrott has started the season off really, really well with MK Dons. And that's another one where you're looking at it and thinking, he could actually genuinely be starting for us. If you look at that Andorra game, he kind of grabbed the game by the scruff of the neck, got things going, and did score. So scored twice actually in that game. Even though I know it's poor opposition, but he showed that bit of character about him. So I do like that about Troy Parrott. I do think he gives us that. Maybe he won't start thinking about just looking at the other options, but I don't think he'll be too far away. He'll definitely feature in a couple of the 3 games. But yeah, Troy Parrott started the season well. It's good to see him. I think he has 2 goals and an assist for MK Dons in League One. So yeah, Troy Parrott, let me know what you think. Will he get into the starting 11 for Ireland. Would he be in your starting 11? Let me know down below. But yeah, it's an interesting one. I think you're looking at Ronan Curtis and Daryl Horgan, both in League One. I think Daryl Horgan definitely deserves it. He's been really good for Ireland whenever he's got his chance. He's looked energetic. He's good on both sides, quick, good on both feet and stuff. So he gives us that option if we're kind of changing up formations. Daryl Horgan, I think, could do a job at right wing back probably if needed as well. Ronan Curtis, I've never liked at international level. I think he's doing all right this season with Portsmouth. I know they've won 3 from 3 league games, so I presume he's doing well at Portsmouth. But I've never really liked him at international level. I feel like he's a bit off the pace. Whether that's going to come with time or something, or with game time, who knows? But yeah, for me, Curtis has been always a little bit off the pace, and it's another uninspiring choice. Maybe if we had a Robinson there or something like that, Curtis might not have made it the cut, but we just don't know. I think Kenny does like him as well. Finally, then Shane Long. I think it's just the experience he brings to the group. He's earned loads of caps. He's scored big goals for us. I think it's definitely worth throwing him in the mix. Obviously, it's a disappointing one for maybe the likes of your Georgie Kelly's, who could have got a chance. I think he's 16 goals and 5 assists in the League of Ireland this season, which is a fantastic haul. But I didn't expect to see him in the squad, if I'm being brutally honest. I didn't expect to see him in it. And I think many were more hopeful than expectant when it came to Georgie Kelly being in the squad. But if he had got in, you'd have to say he deserves it given his performances this season. Definitely. A couple of the other names that missed out, you're looking at Michael Duffy. Vinnie Pert had came out and said that he was very confident Michael Duffy was going to get into the squad, and I think he's been put on maybe some sort of a standby list, but I don't think Duffy's done it enough in the league this season at all. He's good against Vitesse Arnhem in the Conference League. I thought he was really good, but in terms of his league performances, Dundalk are 9th in the league. I don't think Michael Duffy's earned the spot to be in the Irish squad this time around more than maybe the last time around. So yeah, I didn't see Duffy getting in, to be honest. Callum O'Dowda, I think he's just going back from an injury, so possibly that was to do with it, because I know Stephen Kenny does like O'Dowda, so possibly he could have got in if it was under different circumstances. Graham Burke is another one that people were calling for a little bit. He's always a consistent performer in the League of Ireland. He is at the top end of the League of Ireland. But in terms of on international level, maybe he's just not quite cut out for that level. It's tough to know. Obviously, Graham Burke did get his chance over in England and stuff as well, and it didn't really work out for him over there. So maybe that's something that Stephen Kenny kind of bears in mind a little bit when it comes to him. Just looking at through what a few people said. So he put up a poll yesterday on Instagram. I asked, will Liam Scales and or Georgie Kelly be in Stephen Kenny's Ireland squad tomorrow? And it was 61% said yes, 39% said no. And obviously 39% was correct on this occasion. Put up a post asking for thoughts on the squad there as well. People asking why was there no Georgie Kelly, people asking Hendrick and Arthur barely played first team football this season, how are they getting in over the likes of your Gavin Kilkennys, which is a very fair point. No League of Ireland players, of course, in the squad. Jeff Hendrick, people aren't too happy with him. A lot of comments saying Jeff Hendrick isn't good enough. Scalesy is on the standby list. Does anyone have? Do you just have to have the full standby list by any chance? I don't have it. I think I'm not surprised to see Scales on it, to be fair. He definitely deserves that, at least, to be recognised. Did Stephen Kenny say that in his press conference? I just heard a few bits and pieces from it, but I didn't catch the whole thing. Kelly and Scully as well, Georgie Kelly and Anthony Scully. Anthony Scully, of course, was another one that was unfortunate to miss out. Definitely, he's been really good in League One level for a while. Really annoyed that Kilkenny didn't get called up. He's been so good for Bournemouth. Yeah, I'm surprised, to be honest. He fits that profile of player that Stephen Kenny likes. He likes that kind of profile where you're looking at kind of that 20 to 22 range player coming into the first team and coming up from the under 21 level, making that step up into the senior squad, and giving them kind of game time in the senior squad. He's done it with Jason Knight, he's done it with Jason Malumbi, players like that. I think Gavin Kilkenny was another no-brainer, especially with Jason Knight not being available for these games. I thought Gavin Kilkenny was a shoe-in, so I'm really surprised that Gavin Kilkenny didn't make the cut, to be honest. That's the big one for me, I think. Even looking at Harry Arthur in there, Jeff Hendrick in there, Jason Malumbi hasn't been playing first team football either. So yeah, I think Kilkenny can feel very, very hard done by. I know you're looking at only 4 games into a league season as well, so you have to kind of take that with a pinch of salt. I know Kilkenny wasn't really playing first team football before that, so that's something that Kenny did have to bear in mind as well, which I do get. But for me, I think Kilkenny has to be in that squad. Alan Brown has, I think it's a COVID situation with him, whereas Kenny's hoping that he can return to the squad for either the Azerbaijan or the Serbia game. It's the same with Callum Robinson. So Callum Robinson and Brown both have COVID situations going on at the moment, as far as I'm aware. I'm not sure if they have COVID or they're feeling the effects or whatever it is. But they're both just been ruled out for the time being out of the squad. Definitely for the Portugal game, they'll miss, but they might come back in for 1 or 2 of the others. It's the same situation with Callum Robinson, as I said. Which is a shame because they're arguably two starters. You'd imagine. I think Alan Brown started every game for Preston so far this season. Michael Duffy has only 3 goals this season. Would be very surprised if he had been included. Yeah, I would have been. I'd say last season you could have made a better case for Michael Duffy or the season before. This season, I don't think you make a case for him. I know he's been good in the Conference League. He was good, but I don't think he's been good enough in the league. He hasn't been consistent enough at all. And I know Dundalk is just a mess from top to bottom, but Duffy, for me, he hasn't done it this year. Gav has to be number 1 for me, in my opinion. Yeah, this is an interesting one as well. It's an interesting one. I think that we're going to do videos kind of protecting our starting lineups, etc., leading up to the Ireland games across next week. For me, I'd probably agree. Yeah, I'll probably agree with you. Caoimhín Kelleher is not getting game time at Liverpool, of course. Mark Travers he has played all of Bournemouth's games. So that's a factor, I suppose. But for me, I think Kenny saw Travers in against Serbia, and he obviously changed to Bazunu the game after, and I think Bazunu hasn't given him a reason to doubt him. I think Bazunu's looked really, really good for Ireland. Such a young, composed goalkeeper. He's kept 3 clean sheets for Portsmouth so far this season. He's looked fantastic in League One. So obviously Travers playing in Championship is obviously a factor you have to consider as the league above. But for me, even seeing them for Ireland, I think Gavin is the better goalkeeper for sure. Haven't seen enough of Kelleher. I know Kelleher was really, really impressive last season when he got his chance at Liverpool. But yeah, I think you need to see a keeper over a full season, not just little games here and there when you have. I know at times he had bad defenders in front of him and stuff as well, but like you're not bad defenders, but like Nat Phillips and Reece Williams. It wasn't Van Dijk, for example. But even still, I think Kelleher need to play more games. I think Kelleher's quality really, really good, but he needs to be playing more games to justify his selection. I think Gavin Bazunu is going to be the number 1, and it's the number 1. I'd agree with that decision if Kenny did make it as well, for sure. For me, against Portugal, this is the defence now. Gavin Bazunu in goal, Doherty, Coleman, Duffy, O'Shea and Manning. Interesting. Would I change any of that? I'd probably go Egan in there instead of maybe O'Shea, possibly. But maybe you're right. I think O'Shea's had a good start to the season. I think Sheffield United have been poor, haven't they, with Egan? So maybe you're right. But yeah, I wouldn't be against it. Maybe McLean has a case ahead of Manning, possibly. But and again, Manning's playing in the Championship and McLean's playing League One, and McLean's only made 1 start so far for Wigan this season in the Cup. Because he obviously moved recently enough from Stoke where he wasn't really getting in. So yeah, maybe Manning is the right selection there, and I think he plays that system for Swansea as well, doesn't he? So yeah, I think you won't be too far away with that back 5 or back 6 with the keeper included. Mcgrath, Cullen, Malumbi with a front 2 of Ida and Connolly. I think he's going to go with I think you definitely go Cullen. And I think Malumbi's touch and go in terms of fitness. I think he'll go with maybe a Horahan or a Hendrick over Malumbi, possibly. I'd like to see Mcgrath, but I don't think he's going to play Mcgrath either. I think he might go Cullen, Hendrick, Horahan in the middle. I don't think he'll start Mcgrath. Ida and Connolly, I'd like to see. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's not a bad little partnership up front. I wouldn't mind that. No, Clark is heartbreaking. He's been such a loyal servant to us, in fairness. I think Kieran Clark, what he had going for this Ireland squad is if we're playing this back 5, that left centre back position, him being left footed, it does suit really, really well. So that's why I was thinking that he might get in. I had him in my squad prediction. I predicted him to be in the squad for that kind of reason. I think he has been good for Ireland as well. Obviously, I think he's been on the bench every game for Newcastle so far this season. But for me, I think I would have had him in there over maybe one of the younger lads in Omabamidele or Collins. Maybe one of them drop out and Clark come in possibly, just because he offers us that left-footed like player on that side of the pitch, which I do prefer to have one of them if you're playing 3 centre backs. So yeah, I think Clark can feel hard done by as well. I'm not overly against the defence now. I'm happy to see the young lads in there as well because they're both really, really good players. But yeah, I would have expected to see maybe Kieran Clark come in, especially with his experience for these games, especially considering the importance of them. And we literally, if we don't get 7 points from these games, we're gone. We're dust with the World Cup. But maybe Kenny's kind of resigned to that already. Maybe Kenny's just thinking, get the young lads in, drop Randolph, drop Clark, drop those types of players because we're not going to get 7 points. We're gone. Luxembourg game, we had to win. We didn't. We're gone from this competition. We're kind of giving up on this World Cup. We just want to get young lads in and get them experience and caps. So yeah, that's another way of looking at it. Possibly Kenny's having an eye on the next campaign, possibly, because this one is kind of a write-off a little bit. I forgot we have to cap Andy Omobamidele soon because Nigeria are looking through for him and Meepo. Yeah, of course, Andy Omobamidele. Yeah, I think Omobamidele getting called up for these competitive fixtures. His head is truly with Ireland now. I don't think his head can be turned at all. Sounds like Love Island. I don't think his head could be turned towards any other nation now. I think he's made his decision. If he's being called up for competitive games, that's him done. I don't think he's looking any other way. So fair play on that one. I think Meepo, I think he's gone. He's gone. I think I'd probably just give up on him. I wouldn't have any interest now with him now. I think a good player, good young player, but listen, if he wants to come, I think he comes to us. I don't think we go running after him personally. I don't think you want to play for your country and that's it. Make your decision. I don't see what Jeff Hendrick actually brings to the squad. It says a lot when his career highlight is hitting the bar at the Euros. Yeah, no, I 100% agree with you. And he's not getting in at Newcastle this season either. I don't understand his selection. I do understand it in terms of the experience, and he's playing for a Premier League club. There is a pressure to pick him. I feel there's a pressure, but I wouldn't. I've said it a few times. I don't want to be too negative or put this stuff out there too much, but I'm not a fan of Jeff Hendrick at all. I really don't. I don't know what he brings to the squad at all. I think there's better players. I've gone through them earlier on. I think McCarthy's better than Hendrick, even though maybe he's a little bit over the hill at this stage. Robbie Brady, even without a club, he's a better footballer than Jeff Hendrick. Gavin Kilkenny, better footballer. So yeah, that's just to name a few. So yeah, I'm not mad on the Hendrick selection at all. Randolph is a legend, in my opinion. Best keeper we had since Shea Given. He always gives 110%. Yeah, I agree with you. I'm surprised to see Randolph not in the squad, to be honest with you. I definitely did expect him to be in there. I know there was rumours of it, I think, because I was doing the video with Socko, and we're doing a squad prediction, and I said, oh, Randolph's a no-brainer, isn't he? Just the experience he brings to set up. I know he's third choice at West Ham now, but I think he's a guaranteed in there, surely, his experience. And Socko was like, no, I'm not sure though. I'm not sure. Like, the 3 young lads coming in are all promising and kind of fit Kenny's profile a bit and stuff like that. And I was thinking, surely, like, bring 2 of the younger lads and have Randolph there, maybe not even starting, but have Randolph there as the experience and as that leader. So I'm a bit shocked to see Randolph left out. But it's a brave call and fair play. Meepo is a close mate of my cousin. He's looking for a proper call-up. He doesn't want to play for under-21s. Bit of an arrogant lad. Really, yeah. God. I think because Meepo is from out near Tala, I think, isn't he, originally? Because remember, they were saying he should follow in the footsteps of Robbie Keane and try and become that like young local lad from Tala that goes on to become like a legend for the national team or whatever. That's like a selling point that they used for him. So yeah, I think Meepo, I think it's a case of if he doesn't want to, if that's the case, like, it's a bit of an arrogant lad. But yes, he's not playing for West Ham or not playing first team football. If he's playing first team football in the Premier League at a championship as a striker, he won't be far off getting into the squad. So yeah, if he's not taking call ups to the under 21s when he's playing in the under 23s, like, yeah, it seems that doesn't sound great. It's not a great representation of his attitude, I suppose. Disappointed at the lack of LOI lads in that team. Really think this could be the ruining of Kenny. Interesting point. Yeah, there was I think someone mentioned before that Georgie Kelly and Liam Scales are both on the standby list, so they're obviously they were close to making it into the squad. I would have liked to have seen Scales in there possibly, but it's hard to know who to take out really. And then, of course, I would have liked to have seen Georgie Kelly, but it's one of those where you're going with James Collins playing in the Championship. Shane Long, it's tough to take Shane Long out, just the experience he brings to the squad, and just the kind of international experience he has, the goals, these big goals he scored for us as well. So, yeah, I don't know. Shane Long over Georgie Kelly, is that a debate? Possibly. at this stage. Georgie Kelly, 15 goals a season, 6 assists. It's hard to say like that he didn't earn it, or he's definitely, because it's good to see him on standby list, because he did earn to be in contention for sure. I've heard that, don't shoot the message of Brady is training with Roberts at the moment. I did hear that Brady was at a game with Stephen Bradley, or was it Stephen Kenny? He was at a Roberts game with Stephen Kenny, even, I think. He was watching. So maybe he's just training with them just for his own fitness. But I don't think he'll sign for Shamrock Rovers. I've heard he's had offers from championship clubs, and he's apparently holding out for a Premier League move. Whether he gets that or not, I don't know. But he's turned down championship moves in the hope of a Premiership move. So I don't think he'll sign for Rovers. I think he'd be too expensive. He's still, is he just gone 30? Or I think he's late 20s, early 30s. Robbie Brady, like, he has a few years left in him of getting that premium enough wage. So I don't see him come back to the League of Ireland yet. That's for sure. Kilkenny in for Arthur. No, that's the one that's been a bit major talking point, I think. I think if you're looking at Jeff Hendrick's not playing for Newcastle this season, Jason Malumbi's not getting in at all this season, and he's had an injury concerns as well. Harry Arthur as well. So I think I would have had Kilkenny in over the three of them nearly. I know Kenny's a big fan of Malumbi, but yeah, no, for me, I would have had Kilkenny in there for sure. It's a real disappointing one. Is there any other ones that you're thinking from the League of Ireland that, apart from Scales and Kelly, does anyone else feel hard done by? Because I touched on Duffy before, and I don't think he deserved to be in the squad just due to where Dundalk are in the league and his inconsistent form in the league as well. So I don't think Duffy deserved to get in. Is there anyone else? Graham Burke maybe, possibly in with a shout. He's been consistent enough this season for Rovers, but I think he's just a little bit off where he'd need to be. Dawson Devoy was one I heard mentioned by one or two people, but I think that's more a case of he needs to be in the under 21s for now and playing in there regularly for the under 21s. I think he's a little bit off just for the next year or two. He's a little bit off the senior squad, I think. Personally, I know Dawson Devoy is a smashing young footballer, don't get me wrong, and I'm so excited to see where he ends up and see how his career pans out, because he's special. He's a special talent, like. But yeah, I think he's a little bit off where he needs to be for the not just in terms of age and experience, in terms of getting into the senior squad. Danny Mandrew was in the last squad, actually. Yeah, not one that's been mentioned too often. Yeah, I don't think he even got a look in when he was in the last squad. I don't think he got off the bench or anything, and yeah, for me, he hasn't really been consistent enough maybe for Shamrock Rovers. He started the season really well. Just getting it Shamrock Rovers perspective here. Mandrew hasn't been good enough, and that's from a hoop. He has the talent, but just doesn't show it a lot. I think it's an element of consistency there, isn't it? I think I think Bows fans would agree to it as well, that he is very, 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 very talented, and when he's on it, and he's really, really good. But I think it's just that element of consistency that he does lack in his game sometimes, that lets him down ever so slightly. Guys, if you're enjoying the stream, please do drop a like on it down below. I really, really do appreciate it. And get your comments in about the squad. We'll have a quick run through them all. Ogbenny over Curtis. Yeah, for me, Ogbenny. Oh no, Ogbenny would be over Curtis, but Ogbenny is actually injured at the moment, which is a huge shame. He was injured. He ruled out earlier in the week by Stephen Kenny, or by the Rotherham manager, I think it was. He picked up a knock, but he's been electric so far in League One. He's been causing so many problems. I remember watching him against Wigan, and he caused so many problems. They had to make a change to the left back, and they had to shuffle around their defence just to deal with him. Like, he's been so good for Rotherham. So quick, so dynamic, such a threat. And sorry about that. Had to just shoot off for a second. Yeah, no, just on Ogbenny. Yeah, he's been so good for in League One for Rotherham, and yeah, he definitely. I think he would definitely have been in the squad if it wasn't for the injury he did pick up. Definitely, whether it was over Curtis or not, possibly. Yeah, it looks like the swap that will be made there if you're looking at the kind of weakest forward in that squad. Connor Noss is getting game time for Mockling. Is he getting game time in the Bundesliga? I actually wasn't 100% sure on that. If that's a big call. I think, is he 20 now? I think, isn't he? He's 20 years old. Conor Noss, he's looked really good for the under 21s as well. I'd say he wasn't far off. And if you're looking at that midfield as well, the likes of having Kilkenny, maybe a Conor Noss as well, like you're thinking they can't be too far away. They can't be too far away at all. So just played the League of Ireland Team of the Year for this year against Azerbaijan, and annoyed at Barcelona as they wouldn't have a clue here. League of Ireland Team of the Year against Azerbaijan, yeah, they probably wouldn't do an awful lot worse than the Irish squad. Like, if you're thinking about it, like if you played the League of Ireland Team of the Year against Andorra, you'd like to think the Team of the Year would win. But sure, look, Georgie Kelly in, yeah, who'd you take out for Georgie Kelly here? Really, if you're actually genuinely looking at it, Georgie Kelly, I know he scored 16 goals, 5 assists, really, really good return, and he definitely deserves to be in contention. But who comes out? Is it James Collins? Is it Shane Long? Adam Ida doesn't come out. Troy Parrott doesn't come out. Is it James Collins? Maybe. But it's a championship striker, and Georgie Kelly kind of has only done it for this season as well. It's hard to know. Do you think there's a factor? This is an interesting one as well. Do you think there's a factor of, this might sound like shite now, to be honest. Actually, I'm just kind of throwing it out there because I saw that Georgie Kelly scored 4 goals in one game, 3 goals in another game, and then he might have a blank the next 2 or something like that. Do you think there's an element of inconsistency to him a little bit in terms of he scored 7 goals in 2 games of his 16? Is there an element of that at all? Maybe not. Because 5 assists as well does show he does contribute to their game so much as well. Bazunu, Coleman, Duffy, O'Shea, McLean, what a back 4. It's going to be a back 5, man. It's going to be a back 5 100%. He's going to go, maybe if you throw Doherty in there as well, and that then Coleman, Duffy and O'Shea is your back 3, your 3 centre backs. McLean left wing back maybe. Noss is on the bench from watching Gladbach since the start of the year. Germany are sniffing around them. Germany is in the German national team sniffing around them. If that's the case, we need to get him in the side immediately. If Germany are even considering trying to twist his arm, we need to get on that ASAP. On the bench for Mönchengladbach since the start of the year. Yeah, listen, I think that needs to be more of a talking point because I haven't heard many people even mention that too much. Yeah, it's Jesus. If that's the truth, that if that's full on the case, we need to get on that big time. Johansson needs game time as well. Yeah, he's 20-ish, 21, I think now as well. Yeah, the 2 lads there to be definitely knocking on the door. If you're seeing the likes of Harry Arter get in there, he's playing for Nottingham Forest under 23s. Malumbi getting in there, he's not starting games. He's unfit at the moment. He's not fully fit. He's an injury. If you're looking at Jeff Hendrick sitting on the bench every week and still getting on, Conor Horahan, Aston Villa reserves as well. Like, if you're looking at these lads getting in, it's going to be frustrating if you're going if you feel like you're not even in contention. If these lads are getting in kind of without hesitation, Gavin Kilkenny is another one that obviously we've mentioned a good few times in the stream now. So Kilkenny, Noss, Johansson could all arguably feel hard done by here, big time. I've seen a few people say Dawson Devoy should be in, but I think it's too soon for him. If he keeps on performing the way he is, then definitely in a few years. Yeah, no, definitely. If in a few years' time, Dawson Devoy, I've no doubt about it, he'll be in the squad. It is too soon for him. I do agree with you. It's too soon currently. He's still so young. So yeah, for sure, it's too soon. I'd take out Shane Long for Shadipo or Scully, because Long hasn't been in a good Irish performance 2017. Yeah, it's hard to know because Shane Long, as we all know, he brings so much experience to the group and he does score big goals at times. Maybe we're just thinking about the Germany game and the Germany goal and stuff, but I think Shane Long personally, I think he probably should just throw him in off the bench. I think he's an asset. Has that experience for the group as well. I think Shane Long is worthy of a place just about still, maybe. I think this could be his last campaign though. It's like Elba said, he got his first goal for AIK the other day. Still probably a bit early for a senior call-up yet. I think yeah. It's interesting. Zach's an interesting one as well because he did get a loan. He wasn't getting into Lincoln last season in League One. Anthony Scully and stuff were starting ahead of him. He wasn't getting his game. He moved on loan to Bolton in League Two. I don't think he was getting his game there either. It was a good Bolton side, and they were quite settled in their promotion push, and they're kind of keeping the same 11. So maybe it wasn't the best move for him at the time, but he wasn't getting in League Two last season, and that has to be a consideration and a factor. I know he's doing great over in Sweden now. I think he needs to be proven a little bit more consistently, probably. Really talented player, definitely still young, only 22 or something like that. Still so young, could definitely be an option in the future. But for now, I think, he needs to show that little bit more consistency, I think, and just keep playing games and keep scoring goals and keep assisting and stuff like that. But yeah, even for the under-21s, you could see at times that he definitely has the potential to be a really good asset for the senior team, for sure. A family in Bremen and Berlin, and they said he's an option for them because they want to cap lads from Germany who are dual national nations. Like, oh, interesting. Yeah, with England. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, no, I wouldn't be surprised, but even I think Conor Noss, surely he knows that he's not going to get into the Germany side. He could be a main man for Ireland. Maybe that's a consideration as well, possibly. But yeah, I don't know. Honestly, we're so hopeless. Should just lump in Noss, Johansson, Patrick Finn, and Elbows Eddie. See what happens. Well, the thing is with this is that I think this campaign is more or less dead in the water. Like, we're not going to get through, I don't think, if we're being completely realistic. So maybe that wouldn't have been the worst shot ever. I think maybe that's why he's brought in Amabamadile, Collins, and not brought in Clark, and that's why he's brought in Travers and not brought in Randolph. Maybe there's an element of that to it, where he's kind of integrating the younger lads into the group and kind of getting rid of some of the older lads from the group already. But yeah, it's hard. Maybe, but then he would have done that with Hendrick, I suppose, is another case and stuff as well. So it's hard to know. I think there's definitely a case for a few of the younger lads, as we mentioned earlier on. Portugal ain't ready. The depth Portugal have is a disgrace. Oh, listen, I'd say their sixth choice team could probably beat us. Like, but then it's only a one-off game. You never know. I think we do need to get something against Portugal, which sounds ridiculous, but it's just absolutely the case. Like, if you're losing to Luxembourg, it's just the way it is. But yeah, might wrap up the stream there, guys. Any more comments, I will read them out if they're coming flying in now. But yeah, the Ireland squad on the screen, as you can see, Kelleher, Bazunu, Travers in the goalkeepers were just selected. Obviously, the big talking point there is no Randolph. The defenders chosen: Seamus Coleman, Matt Doherty, Shane Duffy, John Egan, Dara O'Shea, Ryan Manning, James McLean, Amabamadile, Nathan Collins. Big kind of departures, maybe that could have been expected to be in there. You're looking at Kieran Clark. You're looking at maybe Liam Scales. Possibly, I believe Liam Scales is on the standby list. Josh Cullen in the midfield alongside Jeff Hendrick, Conor Horahan, Harry Arter, Jamie Mcgrath, and Jason Malumbi. Very controversial midfield. Probably the most controversial element of the squad is the midfield. Obviously, Gavin Kilkenny missed out. Robbie Beatty missed out. James McCarthy missed out. And then a couple of the younger lads, as people haven't mentioned it on the stream. You're looking at the likes of Conor Noss, Johansson as well. A couple of those lads missed out as well. So, yeah, I say the midfield is probably the most controversial area of the squad. Just in terms of Jeff Hendrick's not playing games at the moment, Conor Horan's not playing games at the moment, Harry Arter's with Nottingham Forest under 23s, and Malumbi's not playing games at the moment either. So yeah, it's definitely the most controversial element of the squad is the midfield. Up front then you have Aaron Connolly, James Collins, Adam Ida, Troy Parrott, Shane Long, Ronan Curtis, and Daryl Horgan. A couple of the names, obviously, Callum Robinson has missed out through COVID. That's the same with Alan Brown previously in the midfield as well. But both of those players might come back in for the second or the third game, Stephen Kenny did say. A couple of other players that missed out: Michael Duffy, Chidozie Ogbene, of course, was ruled out through injury. Callum O'Dowd, I believe, was ruled out through injury as well. Then kind of Georgie Kelly is apparently on the standby list. Obviously scored 15 goals and 6 assists for Bohemians this season. So yeah, Georgie Kelly is on the standby list. Graham Burke missed out as well. But yeah, for the most part, I think everything is okay enough. I think the midfield is definitely the most controversial element of the squad for sure. Mad to think we will be thumped 7-0 by Portugal in a competitive game. Let's keep the faith. Keep the faith. Believe, guys. Come on, believe. We can do it. We can go down and nick a point. 5 at the back. Is he in the squad for the qualifiers? Is he? Oh, interesting. Patrick Bamford. Interesting. I didn't see that actually. Yeah. Thank God it's over. Yeah, it's just at this stage. Just move on from it. I would have loved to have seen him if he was committed. Obviously, a really, really good Premier League striker, but what can you do? What can you do? Guys, please do drop a like on the stream if you did enjoy, and make sure to subscribe as well. I really appreciate you all tuning in, and hope the rest of your day is lovely. And make sure to leave a comment if you haven't already. I'll reply to them afterwards, and let me know what you're thinking of the squad as a whole. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you in a bit.